You know that feeling, right? That moment where you know what you should do, get out of bed, raise your hand on that meeting, just start the workout, but you just don't. There's this massive gap between knowing what's good for you and actually doing it. Well, today we're going to talk about a super simple, science-backed tool that's all about closing that gap. And believe it or not, it all happens in just 5 seconds. Yep, 5 seconds. That's it. That is the entire window of opportunity you have. I know, it sounds crazy, right? Impossibly short. But there's a ton of research, not to mention real-world stories, that proves this tiny little time frame is everything. It's literally the moment that decides if you're going to move forward or just stay stuck.
So what's really happening in those 5 seconds? Well, it's basically a war inside your head. You have that first instinct, that little spark of a great idea, and then bam, your brain slams on the emergency brake. And I'm not just being dramatic here, this is a real neurological thing that happens. Your best ideas, your biggest moments for growth, they have a 5-second shelf life before your brain's built-in defense system comes in and just shuts the whole thing down.
And listen, this isn't about you being lazy or not motivated enough. It's not a character flaw. Your brain is literally hardwired for survival. Its #1 job is to keep you safe, which means protecting you from anything that looks like risk or uncertainty or even just effort. So the second you think about doing something new or scary, your brain hits this internal kill switch, and suddenly you're flooded with a million excuses, doubts, and fears. And that's the 5-second window. It's the graveyard where all our best intentions go to die.
Okay, so where did this whole idea even come from? You might think it was dreamed up in some fancy neuroscience lab, right? Nope, not even close. It was actually discovered by total accident at rock bottom, all because someone happened to see a rocket launch on TV. This quote from Mel Robbins, it just nails it, doesn't it? The gap between knowing and doing. Back in 2008, she wasn't just talking about this gap, she was living in it every single day. I mean, she knew she needed to get up, find a job, and pull her family out of a really tough financial spot. She knew exactly what to do, but she was just paralyzed, completely and totally stuck.
So her life is basically in a total freefall. We're talking bankruptcy, foreclosure, the whole deal. She's hitting the snooze button over and over again every morning, just trapped by this feeling of dread. But then, one night, she's flipping through channels and sees a NASA rocket launch. And she hears that iconic countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Something clicks, and she has this one simple thought. Tomorrow, I'm going to launch myself out of bed like a rocket. So, the next morning, alarm goes off, and instead of hitting snooze, she just starts counting. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And she physically launched herself out of bed. Just like that.
So what she stumbled onto, completely by accident, is actually a super powerful brain hack. But why? I mean, why does something as simple as counting backwards actually work? To get that, we need to dive into the science and meet the two competing bosses running the show inside your head. All right, so think of it like this. In one corner, you've got your basal ganglia. This is your brain's autopilot. It loves habits, comfort, and basically anything that saves energy and avoids risk. It's the part of you that wants to hit snooze and stay on the couch. And in the other corner, you have your prefrontal cortex. This is the CEO of your brain. It's in charge of focus, logic, and doing new things. It's the part that wants you to grow and achieve your goals. So every single time you hesitate, it's a battle royale between your autopilot and your CEO.
So how do you make sure the CEO wins that fight? Well, this is where the magic of the countdown comes in. See, if you count up 1, 2, 3, that's a habit. Your autopilot can do that without even thinking. But counting backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, that's different. It's not a rote pattern. It actually requires focus. It forces your prefrontal cortex, your CEO, to wake up and grab the steering wheel. It's like you're manually shifting gears in your brain, taking it off autopilot. And this whole act of outsmarting your own brain, it actually has a fancy scientific name, metacognition. It basically means thinking about your thinking. So the 5-second rule isn't just some cute life hack. It's a real tool for what you could call applied metacognition. You're using a simple trick to consciously hijack your own brain's operating system, putting yourself back in the driver's seat exactly when you need to.
All right, so we get the why now. Let's get into the how. How do we actually use this to create that spark of action? Especially on those days when you have absolutely zero motivation.
And honestly, it could not be simpler. It's just 3 steps. Step 1, you feel that instinct, that gut feeling to do something towards a goal. Step 2, you have to act fast, before your brain has time to talk you out of it. You immediately start counting down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In step 3, and this is the most important part, when you hit 1, you move. You physically move. Don't think about it, just move. Stand up, walk towards the door. Open your laptop. That physical movement is what tells your brain, hey, I'm in charge now.
So why is that physical movement so crucial? Well, there's a cool concept from chemistry that explains it perfectly. It's called activation energy. Think about pushing a car that's run out of gas. That first push, just to get it to move an inch, is the absolute hardest part, right? It takes everything you've got. But once it's rolling, it's way easier to keep it going. Starting anything in life is the exact same. It takes a huge burst of energy to overcome inertia and all that resistance from your brain.
And this right here is the part that if you really get it, will change everything for you. You have to accept one simple fact. You are never going to feel like it, period. Waiting to feel motivated to do the hard stuff is a trap. Your brain is designed to want comfort, not difficulty. So if you're waiting to feel ready, you are going to be waiting for the rest of your life. The big secret isn't that motivation creates action. It's the other way around. Action is what creates motivation.
So that brings us full circle. The 5-second rule, it's not about finding motivation. It is the activation energy. It's that first hard push on the stalled car. It's a tool designed specifically to help you push past your feelings, push past that initial wall of resistance, and just get moving. Because once you're moving, momentum starts to build, and things get a whole lot easier.
Okay, we've gone through the backstory. We've touched on the science. Now it's time to talk about you. How you can take this simple little countdown and use it to launch yourself forward. How to finally stop just thinking about stuff and start actually doing it.
Because here's the thing. Every single time you use this rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, you're doing so much more than just getting one thing done. You're basically casting a vote for the kind of person you want to be. You're building something psychologists call an internal locus of control, which is just a fancy way of saying you start to truly believe that you are in charge of your life, not your feelings, not your doubts, not your circumstances. So start small. Use it to put your phone down when you're endlessly scrolling. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Use it to speak up in that meeting. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Each time you do it, you're building the skill of courage. You're literally creating the habit of taking action.
It's kind of wild when you think about it. One tiny 5-second decision, a moment of hesitation versus a moment of courage, that can change your whole day. And if you string enough of those days together, well, that's how you change your entire life. You're always just 5 seconds away from a different choice, a different action, a totally different future. So the question really is, what are you going to do with your next 5 seconds?